why do you think? What do you think has in fact motivated Mike Freer to decide to step down from Parliament, and what does it say about Britain and our society that he's felt he has to do this?
Well, Sir Jake, even though I don't share many of Mike Freer's political positions, I think that this is a crying shame for British democracy. In the statement which was published by his local party in Finchley and Golders Green, he's mentioned various events where he felt intimidated. That this includes one event where he was visiting local Muslim constituents at a mosque. And then he was accosted by a group of men, with one calling him a Jewish homosexual pig. He's non-Jewish, he's an unapologetic supporter of Israel, but he's not Jewish. And as we know, he is an openly gay man. And he also talks about a series of low-level incidents. And I think it's clearly taken its toll on him and also his husband. This is not so much a man who's walking away from British politics, but rather being driven out as a result of Islamist-led pressure.
And you've written this week saying that there's an Islamist-inspired erosion of British politics. What do you mean by that?
I think that when we're looking at the governance of our public sphere, what I'm increasingly concerned about is this kind of Islamist erosion, where the plurality of views on a variety of domestic and geopolitical matters, which are admittedly highly sensitive. So, Jake, I firmly believe that part of being a mature British citizen is accepting that politicians may hold views which are very different to yours. When it comes to those admittedly sensitive issues domestically and internationally. But the key here is having robust conversations and winning the argument in the marketplace of ideas, as opposed to resorting to intimidating forms of religio-political tribalism.
Yeah, just to pick up on that. So I'm just trying to be absolutely clear what you do mean. So when you say, do you mean international factors like the IDF, the Israeli war against Hamas, the discussion? Do you mean international factors like that are inspiring people to target MPs as we speak here in the UK?
Oh, no, absolutely, Sir Jake. I've often written about the fact that geopolitical tensions and indeed foreign conflicts, they can have an impact on domestic social cohesion in the UK. And I've often made the point that when you're looking at those kind of tensions, I think we've underestimated the threat of those tensions. It also includes the importation of sectarian tensions, whether that's from the Middle East, South Asia, or indeed parts of Africa, especially the Horn of Africa. And I think that those who are very serious about social cohesion and community relations, they have to be aware of those imported foreign conflicts. And it does also pose a threat to politicians who are quite outspoken when it comes to those particular issues at the international level.
Do you think this is a sort of a London issue? I must admit, in my constituency of Rossendale and Darwin, we've got a really big, mainly Bangladeshi heritage population who are all Muslims, and I've always engaged with them brilliantly. I've found them completely welcoming, and we may agree to disagree on some issues, but they have always welcomed me, and I've had an active debate with them. Do you think this is a metropolitan problem, or do you think it's all over our country?
Well, I'm personally also Bangladeshi origin myself, and I think this is the point. I think, unfortunately, under our policy model of multiculturalism, what it does, it tends to empower what I'd consider to be quite divisive, radical ideologues, self-appointed community leaders, and it disempowers, especially in Muslim communities, patriotic, decent-hearted, law-abiding British Muslims. And when you actually look at polling, Sir Jake, the concern over Islamist extremism, the level of concern within British Muslim communities is actually very similar to the level of concern in the wider general population. So I think it's about time that those in influential positions in terms of politics and policy, they need to be more vocal about the threat that Islamist extremism poses as the principal terror threat and the erosion of what I'd consider to be governance of the public sphere as a result of Islamist-led intimidation and harassment.
Well, fantastic. You reflect what I find there in my day-to-day work as an MP, that the people of Lancashire, all the communities of Lancashire, particularly the Muslim communities, are peace-loving, active citizens here in the UK. Thank you so much for joining